Hello there, welcome back to another review. Today we're going to be looking at the 1982 classic, I think it's a classic anyway, Jackie Chan vehicle, Dragon Lord. This was originally going to be a sequel to Young Master. The original title for the film was Young Master in Love, but along the way the plot sort of changed. It's got a lot of the same cast in it as from Young Master, but it becomes sort of its own thing and it became known as Dragon Lord. It's very much a light-hearted Jackie Chan vehicle with like a very simple plot and it's very easy to watch. And I personally always had fun with this movie. I think it's definitely, I think it's, although it's not a classic Jackie Chan vehicle as like one may think what a classic Jackie Chan is, this to me is I think it's one of his most funnest films, definitely one of his most light-hearted, where it's not like there's a hell of a lot on the line in this movie. Of course there are still, there's things that the hero has to do, that has to, it goes on this sort of journey, but it's very much played simply as like just a light-hearted romp, have fun, don't take it too seriously. It's made just for, like I say, just having a good time with. And I think this is Jackie Chan just definitely of his most experimental here. It's not, as I say, compared to Young Master, they're two totally different entities. Bearing in mind, as I say, this was going to be a sequel to Young Master. The two films are very, very different in just the way the action and just the way the whole film is. It really did mark a transition for Jackie, moving from his more traditional, typical martial arts movies to more elaborate stunt work. And in many ways, the film can be seen as one that bridged the gap for Jackie Chan. It bridged the gap between the classic sort of old school traditional stuff that we were used to into sort of the more stunt work, sort of Project A, Police Story, that kind of thing. And I think Dragon Lord, despite what many think about it, I think it was a film that Jackie Chan had to make. I think it was something that he wanted to experiment, he wanted to try different things, and I think Dragon Lord was something that he needed to do to see where he was going to go next, to see what he could do, what can be done. So basically Jackie's character in this is somebody, he sort of slacks around rather than study and learn kung fu. It's not to say he doesn't know kung fu, but he doesn't practice as much as he should. He's not like doing his schoolwork as much as he should. He's basically just slacking, just trying to get through the easy life as much as he possibly can. Like I say, he's not a kung fu master in this at all. He's not totally fully up. I mean, if you look at even the end fight, it's all the fights in this, Jackie Chan doesn't know how to fight at all. He purposely makes it that his character can't fight. That's what he's chosen to do, and it's a wonderful, definitely just a nice break from sort of what we were used to. And his friends and tutors, like I say, they all cover for him so he can sort of skive off, basically. His best friend, played by Mars. Obviously if you're not sure who Mars is, he's in Police Stories, in Project A's, he's in a lot of the Jackie Chan vehicles. They're both best friends. Him and each other's fathers are best friends, and his dad, Mars's dad, always has like sort of the latest Western things, and Jackie Chan is always his character's sort of jealous that Mars he's a bit more privileged than what Jackie Chan is. Excuse me. And they end up fighting as they both see this girl they both like. So hence the whole Young Master in Love type idea. And at one point, Jackie tries to fly this kite with a message attached to it for the girl, but it lands on this building where a group of criminals are trying to sell China artifacts. One of the deputy chiefs doesn't want any part of it, and he tries to get them back, who Jackie Chan and Mars end up helping and hiding him at his dad's, and they were just trying to get this guy out. And that's basically the plot of the film, really. Until that Jackie Chan flies that kite, that sequence, there's really not a lot happening. It's basically just two friends falling out because they just like this girl. And basically when Jackie Chan flies this kite, as I say, it accidentally lands on the criminals' sort of headquarters where they're sort of prepping these China artifacts to get rid of them, to sell them. That's sort of where that's where the villain and the enemies, the bad guys in the film sort of come into it. Regardless of this, the stand-up scenes like the opening Bum Festival scene, which was originally going to be the end for the movie, but Jackie Chan thought the whole film needed much more of a grand opening. There's actually on this DVD, there's actually the extended cut of it that was initially sort of released in certain territories, and the film does end with the bun sequence. So you have the end fight, and then you get the bun sequence as well, which I think was a bit too much for an ending. I think Jackie Chan was right to, and it's his preferred version, the one we get now, the Hong Kong cut, where the bun sequence is at the start of the film. And that the bunting is sort of like a rugby game that starts with this pyramid onto the shuttlecock game. I think it's called Gianzi or something like that. I think that's the right term for it, or something like this, something like that. And the shuttlecock game there. I mean, there's some really fun scenes in this, some really good stuff. I mean, obviously the shuttlecock scene is what. The shuttlecock match is what a lot of people remember from this film. It's like when Jackie's asked to recite a poem and his friends are trying to mime to him what the words are, or when Jackie and Mars are trying to load a gun. There's some really fun stuff in here, and like I said earlier at the beginning, it's very much a light-hearted, just have fun, this kind of film. And I love Dragon Lord. I really do. I've always really enjoyed Dragon Lord. You know, there's another scene I like when Jackie's on the roof of the criminal's base of operations and the spears are coming through the tiles. They even put like homage to that on the front of the cover. I don't know if you can see that there, but I absolutely love that scene. It's really Jackie Chan doing some flips and everything, trying to dodge the spears, and really good the way it's shot. I mean, like I say, the infamous shuttlecock scene is, I mean, it's absolutely, I mean, it's renowned for taking loads and loads of takes. I think Jackie Chan, I think he got in the records or something for just taking the most amount of takes to do one particular shot. And the rematch with Wayne Sick, this from Young Master. You know, Wayne obviously was in Way of the Dragon. And like I said earlier, it's a very different fight from the Young Master. The way the choreography is, it's shot differently. The environment, like in Young Master, they were out in the open, they were on the hilltop. Here they're in like a confined sort of barn. Props are used. Jackie Chan is using any means necessary to defeat his opponent. He's not relying on just his skill, his kung fu prowess. It's very different. It's very different to what we'd seen before up to this point, say in films like Drunken Master, Young Master, Fearless Hyena, that kind of thing. So this was Jackie Chan, like I say, just bordering, getting into that more stunt territory, getting into that more you know, let's not just have kung fu fights. Let's have stunts as well. Let's have people falling off things. Let's have people, you know, let's break, you know, let's run upstairs and flip off this ladder. You know, just really do mixing it up. The end fight, I think, is personally worth the price of admission alone. I think the end fight, while I don't think it's necessarily as classic as Young Master, the end fight in Young Master, I do believe the end fight in this is still one of Jackie's best. I mean, Wayne Six, such a great martial artist, really absolutely fantastic. And here, the rematch is still a good fight. You know, it's still absolutely amazing. And it's worth noting as well, this was the first Jackie Chan film that really had outtakes at the end. It was one of the first Jackie Chan vehicles that sort of had bloopers at the end, owing mainly to the fact that Jackie Chan was in Cannibal Run. I believe the film did go over budget and took a lot longer than Jackie and the studio did want it to, because obviously, you know, Jackie being the perfectionist he is, I think this sort of did run over, like a lot of his films did sometimes, like Operation Condor being another one. I think Miracles did a bit, I'm not sure, but Dragon Lord, I think, definitely did go over budget. And it's very interesting notion that, like I say, Jackie Chan chose to make his character not very good at Kung Fu. He could have... That was his decision to do that. He didn't, like I say, he had a lot to do with this film. And he could have easily said, right, well, I'm going to be a Kung Fu master. But then the film would have lost a lot more of its gravitas. It would have lost a lot of its groundness, a lot of its charm. And the fact that he can fight, but he's not a great fighter. So... when it comes to the end and like he's going up against this expert, you're really rooting for him because you just want him to persevere, you know. And that's sort of the whole Jackie Chan thing, that especially the classic Jackie Chans, he's always the underdog. He's never as good as that other guy, so you really do root for him and you want him to win. Like I say, it's very different, very, very different in regards to sort of Young Master, and it becomes like a more scrappy. You know, the end fight is a lot more scrappy than, I mean, Young Master, the end fight does get scrappy, but here it is really, like I say, it's almost like just, as I say, there's no style to the fight sequence here. It's just there. I mean, it is a style, but what I mean is it's not like there's grace and finesse or anything like that. It's really just like, I've got to defeat this guy. How am I going to do it? I'm going to do anything, even if I've got to bite him, scratch him, whatever it takes, I'm going to take him down. As I say, using the environment a lot more than actually using just standard normal kung fu. I love it. And then there's one good, even in the subtitles, which I, like I mentioned before, I always watch the subtitle versions. There's one quote that I always remember, and even when it was in subtitles, it did make me laugh. And Jackie at the end, he says, "We are representing 300 million Chinese to try and get the artifacts back." And which Mars does make me laugh, because Mars replies, "Is there any way of contacting them so they can come and help us?" you know, it just made me laugh. Like, we're doing this for 300 million Chinese. It's like, well, we're getting our asses kicked. Is there any way you can actually find out a way to contact them? Because we could really do some help right now. And it just tickled me. You know, they're just absolutely getting their asses handed to them by the main villain, Wang Ying-sik, at the end, and I just love that. But yeah, and it's the end fight. As I say, the environment is different. Let's say the locale is different. The stunt work is different because Young Master done the typical thing like many kung fu movies do. It's just set on a hilltop, it's set in like an open space. Here, they're boxed in. There's props. There's things they can use to sort of, you know, get the better of each other, especially that scene where Jackie Chan's trying to relentlessly pull him off, like, we'll go down together, you know, we're gonna, you know, we'll die together, kind of. And he is really pulling him. He is really pulling Wang Ying-sik. He is really yanking on him. He is really trying to get him off this balcony so they can plummet to the floor together. And I think in one of the outtakes they do actually go, if I recall. I think they do actually, like, Wang loses his grip, and I think they both do go down. A few little plot holes here and there with this. I mean, it might be just me. It might be just the way I interpret the film, and that I may have missed or it didn't make sense to me. For example, it's never explained the meaning of Mars's dad having relations with the criminals, because he's talking to him and he's sort of, I think he's aiding them. I'm not sure, but I don't think that's really acknowledged. I mean, people out there who've seen this film, maybe you can help me on that. Because I thought at the end there's no sort of comeuppance for Mars's dad, and I know they're trying to help him, but I thought he was sort of aiding the villains, like to sort of sell China's artifacts. I'm not quite sure, but maybe somebody out there might be able to know that, because it always seems to me every time I watch this film that Mars's dad is helping the guys. So not too sure on that one. Or there's another scene where Jackie sees the deputy chief all in black, taking back the artifacts on the roof. And next time we see him, he's in like different clothes, being chased by the henchmen. So Jackie Chan's like, it's when he's trying to get the letter back. He sees the guy on the roof. He's in black, and he's trying to, you know, the story implies he's trying to get the artifacts back off the criminals because he's changed his mind. He doesn't want anything to do with it. And then next time you see him, he's in different clothes. I'd imagine it's just because he got caught. I mean, I think at that point Jackie Chan's in different clothes as well, so I'd assume it's probably the next day. It's probably a jump cut. But yeah, I just thought, because you see him in this sort of, and he's not even on the front, like he's just down there, because he tells Jackie Chan to be quiet, like, you know, don't let them know I'm here. And yeah, and then he just sort of, you don't see him, and then the next time you see him, he's being chased. So just little things that just I thought, wasn't he? I don't know, you know, did that make sense? But yeah, still love Dragon Lord though, really good. I mean, though from being Jackie Chan's best film, I think it's, you know, it's far from being Jackie Chan's best film. It's still a very good Jackie Chan film. Make no mistake, this is still very. I mean, this is, you know, it is a Jackie. This is what become. This was started that what was a Jackie Chan film to me personally, and I believe it's a very pivotal and like an important one in Jackie's career. It really is. I think it's probably one of the most important. Just, you know, despite what people think of this movie. Although the pace of the film doesn't exactly flow super evenly at all times, and like I say, the film is far, far from perfect. There is enough in this film to keep the momentum going, and funny scenes and action scenes that really did pave the way for like later Jackie Chan movies. And like I say, it's a really easy watch. It's a really easy watch, and there's a lot of comedy moments in this as well. There's kung fu fights. There's like a bun festival rugby sequence. There's a shuttlecock match. There's a lot of fun to be had with this film. So if you've never seen it, check out what a really pivotal film from Jackie's career, Dragon Lord.